Hi, everyone. I'm Terry Evans, Deputy Editor of Entrepreneur.com. Welcome to our live chat series, where today our special guests are the Sharks from the popular ABC reality show Shark Tank. And today the Sharks are here to answer your questions about the show, about each other, about advice on pitching investors. We're going to cover it all. Some of our readers have already submitted questions, but keep your questions coming on Twitter using the hashtag ENTLive. Okay, so let's meet the Sharks. We have Lori Greiner, also known as Queen of QVC, with her success with hundreds of product launches and holding more than 100 patents. We have Barbara Corcoran, long been known as a real estate mogul in New York and beyond. We have Daymond John, branding expert and the man behind the wildly popular urban clothing line FUBU. And we have Kevin O'Leary, who is also known as Mr. Wonderful, sometimes sarcastically so, who became a billionaire after starting his software company from his basement. So let's start out, Sharks, with, could you give us a kind of a behind-the-scenes secret, what folks don't see when they're watching the show? Like a
Can I start?
Peek? Sure, Barbara, go ahead.
My favorite secret that people at home just don't get to see, and that is when the entrepreneurs walked onto the set through the Big Shark Tunnel and told to stand there, the producer says, don't talk until the sharks talk to you. So picture yourself in their shoes being really hyped up, all set to give you a pitch, and then nobody talks to you for a full 5 minutes. You fall apart. That's the meanest darn trick, and we love it because we get a first impression on how that guy or gal is under pressure. I love that part.
That's
well,
excellent.
I think Barbara's saying something interesting about the making of television. The truth is 95% of what's shot never makes it to air. So, you know, we spend a day and a half making one show. A lot of stuff goes down that people never see. I can't wait to see the outtakes of Shark Tank sometime. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a valuable point. I think our shortest pitch was 22 minutes, and our longest pitch went on for about 2 hours.
Is that the case? Wow.
Yeah, an average of those pitches is about 45 minutes. So a lot of times when people see us make comments such as, you know, you didn't answer all my questions right, or something else, and they go, I didn't hear you ask that many questions. They don't realize that we were sitting there for an hour grilling those people.
And Daymond isn't one of those tomorrow night. I think that was one of the longest pitches. It was agonizing, wasn't it?
Yeah, you'll see tomorrow night in that pitch. Obviously, we moved to a new time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, but you will see that I will be so aggravated in my chair, and you know, somebody said, yeah, it's not new, but I'm extra aggravated. You know, I'm just really
You're going
like
through your change of life, I think, through the whole season.
yeah.
I think that tomorrow night, at least for me, and I think the guys will agree, was one of the most agonizing, shocking, surprising pitches ever.
I actually got up. Remember, Lori? I got up and walked away and went and got a donut and an apple and came back.
Yeah. Daymond got up, stormed out in the middle, and then it went on so long and was so agonizing that he came back in about 20 minutes later with bags of chips and an apple in his mouth and his arms full of snacks. You remember that, Kevin?
I do, and you know what I say? Poo-poo happens. It just does.
And it did. Yeah.
Okay, great. Really good stuff. You know, a couple of questions have come in about valuation. And this is something that comes up a lot on the show when you talk about how much money you're going to give for what percentage of the company. So several people have asked this. David Hewitt asked on our website and also on Twitter at @cube_MN asked about valuations. What's your methodology, and what should entrepreneurs keep in mind when they're making their valuation and their pitch?
Well, I'd like to take a stab at that from a very basic and you know, pragmatic way of looking at it. If you come in with a product or service or idea that doesn't even exist on the market and tell me that it's worth $10 million and that we have to put in $1 million for 10%, I ask myself, could I do the same thing myself for less than $10 million? And if the answer is yes, why would I invest in that entrepreneur? How dumb is it to make it so expensive that I could go do it on my own if I wanted to. And that happens a lot. People are very greedy, and I think it's a big mistake because you never get any money.
You know what I think? I think these guys spend so much time talking about valuations, they don't know what the heck they're talking about. Nobody knows how to value a business. It's mostly out of your gut. I get made fun of a lot of overpricing things. Well, guess what? I don't give a crap about overpaying for something if I know I'm going to make extra money on it. All right? There's no rules. Everybody thinks there's a rule out there. Trust me, measure all the rules that the guys use throughout the entire season, and you'll find it fluctuates all the time. It's all nonsense. That's my opinion.
So listen, I'm apologizing for Barbara right now. She hasn't finished my course on capitalism. She's only in the second term. By the time I finish with her, she'll understand what valuation is. Trust me.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Meanwhile, I'm counting my money.
I think I can agree on both sides. I think the valuation, when you're talking about a business that you want to franchise, and that it's very obvious about the numbers and how you're going to grow it over a course of time, the valuation can be pinned down fairly easily. I think that on the flip side, if you come in there and you made $2 million worth of problems and you try to put that into your valuation like that's our problem, that's unfair. I think on the other side, if you come in there with a proprietary product or an idea, like I walked into my partner and said, I have a hat, I have LL Cool J and a bunch of rappers who want to wear it, I couldn't put a valuation on that. So it really, Barbara, I think is accurate. It can fluctuate.
I agree too. I think both things matter. I think the valuation can fluctuate, but I think if they come in with something that's just ridiculous, you notice all the sharks get turned off immediately. And
I can draw a cat for you, like that one.
And if they come in with something that's reasonable and we think it's something that's great, I think it's a mixture of the valuation and your gut instinct or feeling about what's going to happen with the product.
But there's valuations, Lori, on both sides of the table. If they're coming in there and they only want to value their company, how much is the valuation of one of us assisting and or, helping them with their product? Sometimes, that's a reverse valuation that they're not respecting.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with that.
And I'm happy to report that I just
when an entrepreneur comes in,
valuation instead of evaluation. Why didn't somebody tell me that a few years ago?
At the end of the day, if you invest money, you want to get it back and then some, because you put it in harm's way. You're investing in a deal, you could lose it all. So it does matter. The value matters. If you overpay, you don't make any money. It's that simple. When you don't make money, bad things happen. If you do that enough times, you end up broke, and you're sitting on the side of the road eating government cheese. You don't want that to happen.
Yeah, well, we're missing Mr. Moneybags, Mr. Cuban, who usually says valuation doesn't mean anything, but I think that no matter what, when you go into a store, you need to know some kind of price that you're asking. But of course, he's not on here because he just, pays for everything.
You still with us?
Hello?
Hello? Ooh.
I think we might have lost her.
We might have lost Tracy.
She's so stunned by what you had to say.
It's market confusion right there.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know if this thing is still live. We could start talking. Okay, give us your theory all over again, Kevin, on valuation.
Barbara, you started it.
It was so exciting.
We don't know if anybody's with us here.
Well, I'm going to ask Barbara a question from the tweet.
Patrick, tell them we lost our host. We're all live and moving, but she's frozen.
I'll take over hosting duties, Barbara.
Right
now.
Is anybody out there, Kevin?
I'm gonna go to Twitter right now and ask a question. Okay.
Let me jump out and ask him up here.
All right.
Are we on an island
So
alone?
Lori, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
So
hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
we're back.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Tracy, you're back.
Am I back? I didn't even realize I was lost. Okay.
Tracy, please
so
don't interrupt
we
us.
killed valuation. What else you got there, Tracy?
Okay.
Next